I will soon become the same color as my suit because I'm so nervous. Hi everyone, this is me. My name is Polina. Yeah, you might have seen me on social media looking ridiculously as this. As you can tell, I really like glitter, and I will explain later why. And it first seemed like a really narcissistic idea to talk about myself and my story, but I realized that the meaning of you is a very big part of my journey, and I thought it's a very fun way to show how you can become, or how you can be, or how I was and still am being unapologetically myself. And yeah, I think I'm the most qualified person to talk about how to be unapologetically yourself looking like this. A little bit about myself and what makes me me. I'm from the biggest country in the world, Russia. That tiny, tiny dot is where I'm from. It's a ridiculously small city of 300,000 people. I was really bad at maths. I was really bad at science. I was really bad at everything, honestly. And my parents decided to put me into art school. So when I was 7, and all my classmates were 14, because nobody wanted to be enrolled in a school that was so traditional, serious, was where we were learning about like art theory and art history and drawing with charcoals. Nobody wanted to put their kid through that stress, except my crazy parents. And because I loved bright colors and experimenting, I was told to repeat the year in the history of a 100-year-old establishment. I was the only one who ever repeated a year. So that was really, really embarrassing, and, but I managed to graduate when I was 11. And funny enough, years later, this was one of my first art pieces that I've done with glitter. It was done in Singapore, and this is a world map where I covered Russia in glitter, and that was kind of my first steps towards realizing or remaking a painful memory something happy by using glitter. And I think everybody has different like ideas of what their childhood was, and mine was a very strange salad of emotions. And having that experience made me actually a really angry kid, and I wasn't able to process things properly, and I became really angry, and I had to change like 3 schools in 1 month. And I remember my last experience of a school in Russia. They told my parents that I'll never be able to speak English because I'm so bad in subjects. So that's interesting. But what I learned from all of this is that though I never was good in school, and it's funny that I'm saying this in front of like inside of a school, but I never gave up on like being my authentic self. I learned how to manage my anger, because it's not cute to be angry. Nobody likes that. And direct it into something useful. And prove to everybody that you can be whatever you want. If this is what you want to look like, do it. And another very important thing is that not really everybody is ready for your authentic self. You might push it down to people's throat, but it's not for everybody. So just know when to step back. And for the topic of angry art, I made a bunch of that in my past school life. And these were pieces inspired by Pussy Riot, who I found out about when I was in school. And I was really, it was a lot of pain to go through realizing what happened to them as a Russian and also a woman artist. And this was kind of a first time that I experienced using my body as a medium, and also a first experience of creating kind of like an alter ego. I could pretend to be really anyone, and I pretended to be this powerful, badass woman. But I also experienced and made a lot of art from a happy place. And I think trying to reconnect with my Russian roots, relearning my family history, and bonding with my granddad, who's the keeper of all these stories, made me kind of come up. It's still an ongoing project where I transform portraits of my family, and now trying to transform portraits of other people. And I feel like those photos are so like sad and grim, and I am highlighting women in the families because to me, all of them carry the pain of so many families. I'm using sparkles and fun materials to kind of give it a new life. And yeah, when my parents decided when I was 12 that they want to move to a different country, it was a whole different shock And it was really scary because me and my little brother, we were put in an English-speaking school. We both didn't even know how to introduce ourselves in English. And my first class was literature, and they were reading Macbeth. And I was like, what is going on? And however, it brought us really close as a family. And I remember that one thing that was going through my mind all the time is that I am not capable to speak English, but what I have is art. And what I have is creativity, and that doesn't need much of a translation. So I quickly found the people who are creative, classmates, got everybody together and started doing art and like, I don't know, trying to create some kind of commotion. And a lot of really happy art is, for me, is like has to do with that memory, because the moment you become comfortable, you start using fun and bright colors and experimenting. And I truly found like my tribe and the people who were, you know, encouraging the process. And funny enough, so the place that I moved to, which is also important, is Cyprus. And Cyprus is a small, tiny, beautiful island. And 3 years in, I decided that I'm really bored and I need to keep moving. And my crazy father was like, okay, where do you want to go? And I was like, Singapore, it's really far away and sounds weird. And, and he was like, okay. So at 16, I moved to Singapore completely alone, got accepted to LaSalle. I don't know how it happened. I just packed my bags and left. And yeah, I'm not encouraging anyone to quit school at 16. Do I wish that my parents stopped me? Yes. A lot of strange things happened because of it and delays in education. But what I truly encourage is to listen to yourself. And now I don't regret my decision. But what that experience made me is grow up really fast, as well as be extremely lonely, because I feel like back then, 10 years ago, there were not many people in the same situation as me. And believe me, no people from Russia or Europe were interested to come and pursue their art education in Singapore. Yeah, it was weird. And again, I was trying to find comfort in like art. So I was the first one to come to school at 7:30 a.m. and the last one to leave at 12 midnight, because I really had nothing else to do. And I was like, I'm just going to make it work. And even in Singapore, I was told that I should quit being an artist because I paint cartoons and I should stop embarrassing my parents. And yeah, I decided to turn that around because I realized I'm in such a beautiful and giving space. And through that, I created a lot of really beautiful pieces because I miss my family a lot. So this is my graduation work where I kind of use my family portraits and use flowers, which is the significance of love in Russia, to, you know, just share a little bit of family history with everyone. And then I graduated and I thought I'm awesome, I know everyone, I've done so many internships, so many cool events. I couldn't find a job for 8 months. It was a miserable time and I was like, how can I? And I was like going through that emotion of like, oh my God, it's all because I quit school, now it's gonna bite me in the ass. And it took 8 months of like, and I'm telling you, I did every job possible. A waitress, a nanny, a tour guide, translator, muralist, like everything. And when I was almost ready to give up, somebody remembered that I was Russian and took me to Moscow to build Festival of Singapore with Singapore Tourism Board. And then somebody else on the way to that found me and said, do you want to come and try to work for experiential marketing agency? And I was like, what? Okay. So I started this strange journey of being an adult. And I think some of the things that I learned from it is that you can't give up being curious. Have no fear, because in my case, I literally have nothing to lose, nobody to impress here. So I was like, okay. And be positive, be resourceful. And I think the resourcefulness definitely comes from art school days. You literally can make something out of trash. So I was like, I will apply that to my professional life. And don't stop learning. And while I was experiencing a very strange and like life-changing and like life of a working adult, I also started experimenting with my favorite material, which was somehow became glitter. And it's a joke. Now you will see it. It's everywhere. It follows me everywhere I go. And you will have it at home tomorrow, all of you. So my classmates started joking, and somebody even called me the herpes of art world once. And all of this started because I had an amazing mentor in my performance class who told me, what scares you the most? And for me, it was being alone and not being able to like talk to people, just being in this like, I don't know, confinement. And he said, okay, take that and your favorite material and put them together. So my experience and with performance and how this piece came about is me literally covering myself in glitter and sitting in this strange trance-like state for hours. And it's very strange, but I've never experienced anything like this, and I still to this day chase the feeling. And I wanted to briefly talk about some of my favorite pieces that I've done. First one, where I look really shocked, is the first time I am in glitter in front of people. Blue piece is done with LaSalle students who are doing an exhibition on color indigo. Gold one is when a really big gallery in Singapore noticed me and wanted to use me as like, help them invite people into a gallery. And I think the fourth one is a piece that was very painful to talk about, and I was encouraged not to post it, and I was encouraged not to release anything about it because of criminal circumstances in Russia. And this is a piece that was a collaboration with a London-based photographer who photographed naked women all around the world. So this is the first time that I went nude, which is also very unlike me, in support of a Russian LGBTQ artist and activist who was persecuted for 6 years for spreading of pornography for illustrations of body positivity. So a bunch of women around the world came out and did this beautiful series, and I decided to use color red because I thought that this is a color that will make people like stare and notice, and it's associated with a lot of powerful things. And a lot of people ask me like, why do you do it? Because it's pain in the ass to wash off. Now I only use environmentally friendly choices, but before it wasn't. Why do you do it? Like, it's so strange. It takes up so much of your time. I ask myself this question every time as well. But then for those moments, you see that little girl? So this is a piece that I've done for Sentosa Cove. We kind of wanted to create, if I was a real person, how would like my surrounding look like? And we built this shimmer shack where we gave kids cotton candy, and they get to like talk to me and while I was performing. And this girl, she was legit convinced that I was a fairy, and she would come every weekend from her like house in Sentosa Cove. She will run and she will sit next to me and just look at me. And then she'd be like, can you come home with us? And this is her, and me and her mom are still in touch. So I think for moments like this, I'm definitely like very glad that I get to experience a world of performance art. And I think another really great positive thing about getting to know so many Singaporean creatives and never really giving up on like trying to push myself up in the scene is being trusted with an amazing project. My friend Narelle, local musician, trusted me to build and create and art direct her whole music video. So this is kind of a process from sketch to building to how it looked like on a video. My best friend Bella helped me with painting those walls. It was a group effort, but yeah, it's so fun. And I think another really important thing for somebody who is a working professional but also is struggling to keep up this persona of like this creative badass, I started overthinking everything, and I was like, wait, but now that I have a job, nobody knows I have a job. Everybody thinks that I'm a full-time artist somehow. And this like, I don't have shit ton of followers on Instagram, but that like idea to keep up and always try to impress people started really ruining my creativity. And only last year, I convinced myself not to overthink and just let things guide you. And yeah, when you create things authentically, everybody else can see it. And I think today, there's so many things that I am made out of. Always evolving, definitely always passionate. Somebody who still doesn't know how to accept rejection. Still someone who's learning the value of my work and myself, and extremely anxious. And yeah, in that period of like trying to impress myself and push myself to do things, I was like, I need to stop. Everybody everybody can tell, I can tell that I'm unhappy. So I just started making things whenever I feel like it, and I think people start noticing. And last year, almost in the same time, I had a best birthday present when Vogue Singapore did a few pages on me, and that was insane. And you guys contacted me in the same time. So it was like, I realized that whenever people, when people feel that you're happy, good things will come to you as well. And I think what's really important and what I want to tell everybody is that being unapologetically yourself will have a lot of sacrifices, a lot of missing your family, a lot of fights with people around you, but it's definitely worth it, and I encourage you all to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Polina.